We want to start our show giving some perspective on crime. Just yesterday afternoon, a 26-year-old man was shot by somebody he knew during the middle of the day outside the Lake Street Metro station. It's just one of the shootings we report here on the news almost every day. And when we report on things like this, the perceived fear from Minnesotans about the rising crime in Minneapolis comes too. But a lot of that, as I said, is perception, because the numbers tell us crime is actually decreasing. Compared to the 3-year average, violent crime across the city of Minneapolis is down in 2024. Homicides are down 21%, shots fired calls down 33%, and gunshot victims down 31%. And where those decreases are most evident depends on where you are. Danny's on the show tonight. He talked to community leaders about where they're seeing improvements and where they're still facing challenges. Hey, Danny.
Hey, Jenna. Yeah, you'll often hear Chief Brian O'Hara talk about the targeted nature of gun violence in Minneapolis. These violent crimes are often clustered on very specific blocks involving a relatively small group of people. But in the past year, the department has noticed a shift somewhat in geographical trends.
You know, we try to express to these young people especially that people care about you.
Since leaving federal prison, former Minneapolis gang leader Sharif Willis has been working in the North Minneapolis community with the 21 Days of Peace initiative.
We're here every day.
On Tuesday, Willis handed out food, shoes, and other resources at 36th and Penn Avenue North.
They got gym shoes, socks, and everything down there,
which has been a hot spot of violent activity this summer.
But this building right here, a lot of drug activity, individuals using fentanyl, Percocet.
Despite these troubled spots, violence across North Minneapolis more broadly has actually been dropping. According to MPD data, shots fired calls and shooting victims in the 4th precinct have both fallen roughly 40% this year compared to the average of the previous 3 years.
We're pleased with that. They're not at the numbers that we would like, because we would like for it to be zero.
Minneapolis police have credited a more targeted approach for the decrease in violent crime.
North Minneapolis over the last year has been lower in terms of shooting victims overall than what had been normal in the 10 years prior to 2020. So yes, that's a success.
Chief Brian O'Hara says the 4th precinct has traditionally accounted for more than a third of all gun violence in Minneapolis. But geographical trends have shifted this past year.
We are seeing pockets of South Minneapolis experience violence that's more than what had been typical prior to the pandemic.
Compared to this time last year, MPD data shows the 5th precinct has seen a 22% increase in shooting victims, while the 3rd precinct of South Minneapolis has seen a 34% jump.
Good afternoon.
Earlier this summer, federal prosecutors charged 10 members of a South Minneapolis street gang with drug and gun crimes.
In this case, the decision was made jointly to get this gang off the streets as quickly as possible.
The feds cited the area near Franklin and Chicago as a focal point of gang activity. That block has been a problem for years, and also the site of a quadruple shooting this winter.
We just got to get them the necessary support.
Reverend Jerry McAfee founded 21 Days of Peace and works closely with groups on the north and south sides.
While things are tough in Minneapolis, we're at a good place, because for the first time since I've been here, you got every entity.
Since launching in 2021, the 21 Days of Peace campaign has long outlasted that initial 21-day stretch of street outreach.
We can clean these blocks up, and it won't be one group. It's going to take all of us to do it.
The group that runs 21 Days of Peace is just one of many working in communities across the city of Minneapolis, and McAfee says he's urging elected leaders at the federal, state, and local levels to get all of these groups on the same page so that they can all collaborate better.
Does Reverend McAfee think he has any progress on that, getting everybody on the same page?
I think so. He said actually, compared to what he's seen in the past, he thinks everybody is really collaborating a lot better than he's ever seen in the city before.
All right. Thanks so much, Danny. Appreciate it.